let me show you what the security of the most protected president in the world really looks like. No joke. What you're about to see is literally going to blow your mind. In this video, you'll understand why protecting a head of state can cost millions of dollars. We're talking killer robots, heavily armed bodyguards, and even crazier stuff, all the way to the poorest president in the world. Yes, you heard that right. Jose Mujica, former president of Uruguay. I know, it sounds weird. But instead of cashing in his presidential salary, the guy lived in a tiny tin shack, lost in the middle of nowhere. And he straight up refused to live in the presidential palace. You think his car was any better? Not at all. The guy casually drove around in a beat-up 1987 Volkswagen Beetle with zero security, none. Like he could have been mugged by a pigeon and nobody would have noticed. And that is just level 1. At every level, the security gets crazier and crazier until we reach the most protected president on the planet. Spoiler, it's absolutely insane. So yeah, that guy is not Jose Mujica. Macron is the complete opposite. The guy is escorted like a final boss character. Armored convoy, bodyguards, bike cops, the whole arsenal. You're thinking, with all that, he must be insanely well protected, right? LOL. Not really. Because instead of cruising peacefully, the guy keeps getting hit from every direction. Between the public slap, the eggs being thrown, and even old school medieval style tomato attacks, it honestly feels like he has a projectile magnet stuck to him. The guy is literally a human target. But here's the thing. Sometimes protecting a president can go very wrong. Let's head to Japan. Shinzo Abe was the longest serving prime minister in the country, and when it came to keeping things low-key, he moved like a ninja. His security agents literally ran behind his car to manage traffic in real time. Yes, you heard that right, the guys were sprinting in suits to secure the road. But even with all that madness, it still wasn't enough, because in 2022, during a campaign speech, boom, tragic ending. He was assassinated in the middle of a public event, live, right in front of everyone, which just proves one thing. You can control the street, but you can't control everything. But President Rodrigo Duterte in the Philippines knew exactly what he was getting into. Nicknamed the Punisher by his own people, the guy was ruthless to the core. But honestly, when you look at the way he moves around, you'd never expect that, because his convoys look more like a chill ride with friends than a full-on commando mission. The guy loves motorcycles, and he used to cruise through the city with his bros on three-wheelers, like nothing special was happening. But let's be clear, I have never seen that much armed backup following a tricycle, and he didn't stop there. To send a message to the cartels, he literally had hundreds of dealers' cars destroyed. Yeah, we're talking millions of dollars worth of supercars crushed just to say, look what's waiting for you if you mess with me. So yeah, what Rodrigo did was pretty wild, but it's still nothing compared to what the president of Egypt does to send a message. Because while most leaders show their power with nuclear missiles, battle tanks, or armored convoys, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi decided to flex time with oiled up abs. Yes, you heard that right. The guy literally stripped his entire army, covered them in oil like bodybuilders, and made them march in what looked like a super weird sexy military parade. Like, seriously, where are we right now? On TikTok or in a war zone? Honestly, it looks like P. Diddy's private army shooting a music video. But don't worry, and under all that gloss and coconut oil, these aren't extras. This is the elite of the Egyptian army, ready to jump in at the first sign of danger. And that's why al-Sisi's security is ranked level 40. Stylish? Weird? Both. But it works. Now we're reaching the halfway point of this ranking, level 50. And from here on out, things get very, very serious. Let's head to Venezuela, where President Nicolas Maduro took security to a whole different level, to the point of turning his bodyguards into human shields. Literally. In 2018, during a military event, the guy is calmly giving a speech. And then, 2 explosive drones show up to try and assassinate him. Boom! An explosion just a few meters away, but the guards, zero hesitation. They instantly jump on Maduro and cover him with their own bodies. Forget bulletproof vests, these guys are straight up human vests. We're talking about bodyguards who guard with their bodies. But yeah, not everyone had the guts to play hero. While the close protection team was literally sacrificing themselves, the soldiers on the outer perimeter, they ran for their lives instantly. Thanks, goodbye, and good luck, Mr. President. And as if his security antics weren't wild enough, things got even crazier. Because in early 2026, US Special Forces actually carried out a surprise military raid in Caracas and captured Maduro and his wife in what some officials called a kidnapping before flying them out of the country. But when it comes to protecting the boss of the Vatican, the biggest danger is the boss himself. Yeah, because for example, Pope Francis wasn't afraid to get up close and personal. The guy absolutely wanted to stay close to the people, so security-wise, it was stress 24/7 for his team. You think it's chill being the Pope's bodyguard? Not at all. It's a workout, day and night, so papal security is basically multi-layer, holy protection mode. First, you've got the Swiss Guard, the guys in those medieval carnival-looking uniforms. But don't worry, they're not there for decoration. It's elite security, trained for everything. Add to that, the Vatican's high-tech surveillance, undercover agents hidden in the crowd, and now you've got a real holy fortress. And when the Pope isn't walking, he rolls out his ultimate ride, the Pope Mobile, an armored electric Mercedes G-Wagon, bulletproof windows, a rotating seat, and even a removable roof, in case His Holiness wants a little divine breeze. Yes, the Pope rides in a G-Wagon, and no, it's not to go grocery shopping, but nothing screams VIP louder than having a squad of elite agents watching your every single move. And in India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi definitely doesn't do things quietly. First of all, he's got guards walking right next to his armored SUV like they're shooting a Call of Duty commercial. But the real highlight, agents literally posted on the roof of the vehicle, ready to jump in at the first sign of trouble. Because, let's be real, when you're leading a country with more than 1 billion people, there are definitely a few who want you dead. That's why Modi moves around with the SPG, an elite special unit whose only mission is to keep him alive, no matter the cost. And that briefcase you see in their hands, that's not carry-on luggage, my friend. It's a ballistic briefcase that unfolds into a full bulletproof shield. Like, surprise, I'm a transformer. You want to shoot at him? Good luck. You're facing Iron Man. And if you thought getting close to a prime minister was hard, try getting close to a king. Because in England, protecting the monarchy is serious business. We're not talking about some bling-bling palace here. Buckingham Palace is a $5 billion fortress disguised as a dollhouse. Gates, cameras, guards everywhere. Every single square inch is under surveillance. And the famous King's Guards. You know, the ones with those huge, fluffy bearskin hats. They're not there just for tourist selfies. They are real British Army soldiers with a license to kill. Basically 007, but without the suit. And trust me, if you step out of line during the changing of the guard, they will walk straight over you without even blinking. Royal protocol or not, you'd better stay in your lane. But wait, you thought other world leaders were paranoid. Kim Jong-un takes it to a whole different level. The guy is so obsessed with his own safety that he does some seriously weird stuff. Like, just to earn the privilege of being inside his security perimeter, you have to go through final boss level security checks. And when he finally decides to leave his supreme palace, you can be sure he's surrounded by at least 12 bodyguards in suits, ties, and earpieces. Men in Black Pyongyang edition. But don't get it twisted, these aren't just any guys, they're handpicked for their absolute loyalty and their fear of dying. Because with Kim, you're not just there to protect a president, you're there to protect a guy who can make you disappear for sneezing too loudly. The man doesn't just control the laws, he controls the weather, the tone of voice, and even the breathing of his guards. Honestly, this guy's a full-on sci-fi movie all by himself. But then, Putin, that's a whole different level. The guy isn't just protected on the ground, he's got eyes in the sky, literally. His planes are escorted by fighter jets, and sometimes they even send out decoy aircraft just to confuse potential attackers. You want to get him? Good luck. You don't even know which plane he's in, and it doesn't stop there. His convoy isn't just a line of big black cars. It's a rolling army. Every vehicle is armored, and the route is swept and secured in advance to eliminate any possible threat. And to top it all off, his bodyguards look scary enough to make John Wick run the other way. Guys who stare at you like you just said the wrong word in a KGB meeting. Want an example? Look at what happened when Conor McGregor dared to put his arm on his shoulder. He got out alive. But it was a close call. Bottom line, touching Putin is like trying to hug a tiger on steroids with a drone flying over your head. But now, let's talk about a guy who doesn't even need security. Why? Because Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, president of Guinea, is literally the boss of the country's armed special forces himself. Like, How many presidents do you know who walk around with AK-47s and rocket launchers? None, except him. Mamadi and his squad, always in full commando mode, even when they're doing nothing. Full tactical gear, automatic rifles, war faces, even when they're just on standby. If you didn't know he was a president, you'd think they were heading out on a mission in the Middle East, when in reality, they're just gonna give a speech in front of City Hall. And wait, it's not over. When Mamadi just wants to take a small, chill ride around the city, he shows up with half the army behind him. And his favorite sport? Cycling, but Fast and Furious edition. The guy goes riding with jeeps, soldiers, and heavily armed men all around him. Have you ever seen the Tour de France military version? Well, now you have. So if there's one guy who absolutely cannot afford a quiet little bike ride, it's Donald Trump. For the past 10 years, half the planet turns red the moment he opens his mouth. And when it comes to security, Trump believes in only one concept: never too much. While most presidents have around 80 agents protecting them, he has a full 300? Yes, 300. We're talking about bodyguards, counter-surveillance teams, anti-sniper units, rapid response assault squads in case something goes wrong. Basically, if a threat exists, there's already someone ready to neutralize it. And after all that, it makes sense that he needs to rest a little, but don't get it twisted, Trump doesn't sleep just anywhere. He relaxes inside his own private fortress, Mar-a-Lago, a real-life GTA-style palace. On site, agents everywhere, 24/7, armed Coast Guard units, and even robot dogs. Yes, dogs. Robots. The guy literally fused Black Mirror with Fort Knox. That's billionaire-level presidential treatment. Trump is heavy-duty, for sure, but he's not the only one playing in the big league. Because when Turkey's president, Erdogan, hits the streets, he doesn't settle for a simple armored convoy. No. The guy shows up with a battle bus. Yes, seriously, a real war bus, armored from top to bottom, a fortress on wheels, and it's not just a big bulletproof school bus. On the roof, armed guards straight out of a video game. In the sky, helicopters circling like nothing escapes us. You're thinking, okay, this is insane. It feels like North Korea now. Yeah, exactly. The guy basically copied Kim Jong-un's whole style. Except this time, it's even more hardcore. Getting through Kim's security? That's a walk in the park compared to Erdogan. And now, we're there. Level 100, final boss. The guy so heavily protected that if you go after him, you're basically declaring war on an entire country. Because when it comes to showing force, Xi Jinping doesn't know the word subtle. He's not just a president, he's also the commander of the largest active army in the world. We're talking more than 2 million soldiers ready to move at any moment. That's not a security team, that's a country on standby. Want an example? Look at China's 70th anniversary military parade. Tanks, jets, missiles, endless rows of soldiers stretching as far as you can see. It was the biggest military parade in history, nothing less. And just to show you how locked down everything really is, even his own translator has to go through a security check before getting anywhere near him. Alright, we get it. You're the big boss. You've ticked every single box of the state-level Sigma male checklist. But you know who takes absolutely zero risks? These people right here. An isolated tribe ready to attack anyone who dares come close. Welcome to the most dangerous island on the planet. And places like that, there are plenty of them on Earth. Roads from hell, islands full of snakes, spots where even Google Maps freaks out. If you've got the guts to see more, just click right here.